think we're going to do it near the where the golf course is, in that stretch there. We'll stand you up. It'll be a nice little background.
Stand you up.
Yeah, stand you up.
Okay.
Out there.
Alrighty. You got those? This way. Golf course, right?
Right, the golf
High up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the high
That door over there.
It's right near the end, right?
No, no, no.
Yeah, the
Talking to you, right?
Yeah, you'll be talking to me. Do you want to count to 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Just you can
One,
say and
two,
spell your name.
One,
Yeah,
Bruce Willams Zaccagnino, Zaccagnino.
And you're the owner of Northlandz, right? I mean,
I'm
that's
the
your-
owner,
you're the owner.
creator, builder.
Creator builder.
Okay.
You happy?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get started.
You got it.
Let's like I said, let's start with the technical things. Like, tell me how many feet of track you have, that type of thing. The gauges. Like,
Oh.
trims.
Now you want that as two different questions, or
It's up to you. Yeah, you can.
you want short answers?
All right,
Okay.
sure. Then let's do track.
Okay.
first.
The amount of footage of track is approaching the 40 to 50,000 range. We haven't measured it accurately, but we use all Atlas track. And it's not a good answer. You want me to do it again?
Yeah. Let's start with Northlandz has, or here at Northlandz we have.
Here at Northlandz, we have, it's approaching 40 to 50,000 feet of track. We use only Atlas track and switches, and we haven't measured it precisely, but it's in that vicinity of track. We also, I should say not we also, we, here at Northlandz, well, I'm repeating myself. We run 3 different gauges. HO is about 85 to 90% of what is here, and then we have line L. We also have LGB, or G scale. We have 3 different gauges that run.
But the primary bulk of it is the HO scale.
Yes.
Right? And what is HO? I mean, to someone who doesn't know, I mean, what HO is 187? Is that what?
HO gauge is 1/87th scale. 1/8 scale is also called. It's about half the size of a line L gauge. You can do a lot with HO. You can do a lot more than you can with any given space.
Let's talk about the trains. How many trains do you have here running at any given time?
We can run simultaneously about 125 trains at one time. Trains always need maintenance, and there's always a couple that are down and being fixed, and then we get them right back on the lines.
Just looking around, I see all different kind of, here comes, what brand it is. I mean, did you put any thought into the different trains? Are we just trying to get variety, or is there any rhyme or reason to the length, or the actual length of the train, or is that critical in this?
No. What can I tell you?
Yeah, no. Then if it's no, it's no. I didn't know. That's why I'm.
I just moved. Am I all right?
Yeah, you still fine.
Okay.
I mean, is there?
Well, let me go into that. The type of trains that we run, some of these lines are 1,000 feet long, and some are very, very difficult to get to. We have 3.5 stories high, some of these lines. So the tougher to get to lines will run shorter trains. And the easier lines, we run the longer trains. We don't run too much steam because it's tough to maintain running the trains 8 to 10 hours a day. So it's mostly diesel throughout. We have some steam.
Let's talk about the bridges. I mean, how many bridges?
There's several hundred bridges on the railroad. The longest bridge is 38 feet long, patterned after a bridge in Scotland, the Firth and Forth Bridge. Most of the bridges are made of wood. They took, some of them have taken several months to build. There may be 15 to 20,000 pieces of wood in some of these bridges.
Did you build all these bridges from scratch?
Yes, the bridges are built from scratch, piece by piece.
Wow. Amazing. What are they made of? I mean, is it just
Balsa,
balsa wood?
the bridges are made of balsa wood.
Balsa wood?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the walkway through. It's a mile long.
The walkway through Northlandz, the entire tour encompasses almost a mile. It's really a scenic wonderland, and there happens to be trains running through all this, high and low and everywhere else. You want me to go beyond that? No. Okay.
No, that's fine.
I was gonna go on what's here.
Because I think I'm impressed by how it's laid out to where, you might have one room like this, but you go, you kind of weave in and out of it. All of a sudden, you're in it once, and then 5 minutes later, you're back in it again from a different angle, and it's hard to realize. I think that's what makes it impressive. I don't know if you want to talk about that kind of thing or not.
Okay. The 1 mile of walkways that we have, almost 1 mile, let's try that again. The almost 1 mile of tour aisleways that go through Northlandz, it's a real labyrinth. They go over each themselves. Sometimes you're 3.5 stories up looking down into a vast valley, and other times you're at the bottom of that valley looking up. And they crisscross back and forth in a very, what most people think is a very interesting way to add a lot of interest to the whole thing.
I think it's important to note too that there's no steps. So someone who's maybe concerned, like, oh my God, a mile, you can't have a mile on that.
Right. On the tour, there are no steps, and it's a very gradual up and down on the walkway systems. And this is totally handicap accessible, and even people in their 70s or 80s have literally no problem going through here because people don't realize they're going up or down. That's how gradual it is.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess any other technical things to talk about?
Well, there's enough. At Northlandz, there's to build the superstructure for the entire system. There's enough houses.
Yeah, let's talk about the houses and buildings. Yeah, basically.
Here at Northlandz, there's enough superstructure to support the entire system to build enough lumber to build about 42 large houses. The rock work on the canyons and the high mountains consists of a product called hydrocal, cross between plaster and cement. And there's several 100,000 pounds of this hydrocal in here. There's tens of thousands of gallons of oil paint to paint the mountains and everything else in here. There's hundreds of towns and villages, a couple cities. It goes on and on.
Now, these towns and cities, these buildings, are they built from kits, or is everything built from scratch?
90% of the buildings on the railroad and the Wonderland, scenic Wonderland, are built from scratch. The small ones, the little homes type thing, they're built from kits. But most buildings are scratch built.
Let's talk about the control center. Does each track has its own transformer? Right?
Yes. Each train has its own control. We have really 138 controllers in place as we keep adding. We're at 125 trains now. But in the next few months, we'll be expanding to more and more trains.
What do they run off? 120 volts or 12 volts?
The current that operates the trains is 12 volts. Very low voltage.
Right. It takes 120 and drops it down.
Yes. Through a transformer.
Okay. Let's go into the human interest stuff. Why? Why did you?
Do we
do
dare
this?
say what else is in here, type of thing?
We'll get to that part. We'll get to that at the end.
Gotcha.
I want to just focus on the main part, the trains first, and we'll
Okay.
get to all that. But let's talk about why. Why did you do all this? I mean, tell me your story.
Well, the question as to why to build something like this it's a long question, a long answer. It's I think if somebody has a talent to do something, something like this, or paint, or play music, they have to give it to the world. And, that's what I've done. I have the talent to be able to do this type of thing, and I offer it to the world to enjoy. It's why did the fellow build Mount Rushmore? You know, he had to do it, and it's a very popular place. It's.
But you started out. I mean, from reading that article, you're not a train guy. You're an artist.
Right.
And
yeah, the artistry.
Tell me how this all developed.
Yeah, the artistry to me is the most important thing. The trains are an awful fun part of it, but that's not my key interest. It's the artistry of building the grand vistas and the scenes and the bridges and the whole design and concept of the thing. I mean, it started out as a hobby, and then it just got bigger and bigger, and then I had gotten good enough at what I was doing to be able to do something of this grand a magnitude.
So I think from reading it, you started like in your basement of your home, and it just got so big that...
Yeah, this started 25 years ago, this hobby that turned into a commercial enterprise. in the basement of my home, and then we had a second basement, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth. And then the organ came in the little theater that we had. We opened it up 2 weekends a year to the public. Proceeds went to local charities, and but that was my practice for 20 years, and then that was all destroyed and torn down, getting ready to build Northlandz.
Okay, let's talk about like the creative process. I mean, when you start like even just a room like this, I mean, tell me about that process. Do you just start building and just add on to it, or do you have a grand scheme in mind?
Yes, I designed the building first, and the space that I needed, and then in that I just have a 6-foot stack of papers and drawings to design everything within here. All this was designed and drawn out first before I started construction, and that's that kind of a process.
So there's no, I mean, just a room like this, you didn't emulate anything. Like this isn't a valley somewhere or a town. It's just pretty much your own creative.
No, everything that's here, whether it's a bridge or a mountain face or a town or whatever, pretty much out of my own brain or head or whatever. It's not a replica of anything.
Me personally, I'm impressed with like the way you use mirrors to kind of make it look more expansive. You want to talk a little bit about that? Is that hammering gonna kill us, or it's fine?
Well, I've used, let's try that again. Here at Northlandz, I've used several hundred mirrors to create some interesting illusions. I can't go too much into detail what they do, but part of it's entertainment, part of it's even foolery, but all of it's fun, and people love it. When they figure out that there's mirrors doing certain things, they love it. They love it.
Let's talk about some of the little intricacies, I guess. Some things I noticed. Like in the beginning, there's the roundhouse and grandma's house is on the quarry. I mean,
Want me to expound on all
sure.
the
You want?
different
Yeah.
things?
Do you want? Well, let's just talk about that. I mean, was this just you having fun? I mean, did you?
Sure.
You know, let's talk about that.
Well, in addition to all the big vistas and the breathtaking views, as people tell us, we have a lot of detailed things that are sometimes based in humor or jokery or whatever. And we have a spot we call the world's only toothpick farm. There's a couple thousand toothpicks planted upright, and it's really the only one in the world. Of course, it's tongue-in-cheek. We have Grandma's Pit, also, where it's a quarry that's dug. Everybody sold but Grandma when they first started digging this quarry. So they dug around her, and they gave her a little bridge to get off, and almost everybody that passes that laughs heartily. We have the world's tallest outhouse. We have an outhouse manufacturing company. We have a mountainside cliff-hanging miniature golf course. And all tongue-in-cheek, all to create some humor. It's a serious enterprise, it's a fun enterprise, and this adds a little bit of levity.
I was really impressed with the roller coaster. Again, is that all something you want to talk about? That little
Sure.
circus
Talk
area?
about anything you want.
Yeah.
Some of the fine details that we have here. We have a carnival with a many thousand-piece roller coaster, and we also have another roller coaster and a Ferris wheel under construction in an amusement park that's being built. We have a bona fide plane crash on the side of a mountain, but the sign reads alongside that nobody actually got hurt. What else?
There was like the Grandview Hotel,
Oh, well, we have
that area.
another fun place that people enjoy is the Grandview Hotel. That I don't think would ever be built in real life, but it's amusing, it's entertaining, and it's a lot of fun.
There's like the city, you called it Scranton, even though it doesn't emulate Scranton.
Right. I have a big city with several hundred buildings, some very tall skyscrapers, and I call it Scranton. But it doesn't look like anything like Scranton. It's just a name I gave to it.
I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Like what made you think like there's the Civil War scene and there's the Little Winter scene? I mean, are these just things that you started over the years? Like you think, oh, or or is this something, I
Where-
mean, just whatever you felt like, just to fill the
There's a
space
ton.
up? Or?
No, it's not just filling space. They're ideas. You think about these for years, and you write them down. What you want to create and present to the world, and some of it's based on high modeling. Some of it's based on humor. Some of it's based just on a focal point of interest to create variety and that type of thing.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm looking for, the artistic end of this. I mean, where did,
Where does it come from?
yeah, exactly. I mean, are you a Civil War buff? Is that why you have the Civil War scene, or just
Well, that scene is not labeled yet, but that's going to be done shortly. That's really the history of the American Railroad.
right?
The history of the American Railroad is in our final scene, and it starts with 1832 when the first trains ran. Then it goes into Civil War and shows where the general was blocked, in a battle going on. Then it goes into Promontory Point where they laid the Golden Spike, and it just keeps going up through the current. That's a little bit of an educational factor, and it's done with very high detail. And, type of thing. I'm still not answering your question, but I'm not sure your question. I mean, why do you do these things? I don't know. Why did I put those two buildings there? It's a creative process.
Right.
Why did Beethoven write the? I'm answering your question stupidly here, but why did he write
Yeah,
the Fifth
well,
Symphony?
it's hard.
What made him use those notes?
No, it's a hard question to answer. I
Yeah.
guess I'm looking for more of the process. Is it more? I started building here, and I thought, oh, this would be a nice place to put this.
No, this is-
or was it?
this is all
Was it
pre-planned.
very
Very well. Northlandz was it's just a ton amount of thinking and thought process going into and major planning. I mean, day and night, week after week, and figuring out what's going to go where, how it's going to look, how it's going to entertain, the public. There's just a lot of that that's gone into this. Not just a whimsical, let's put this here, let's put that there. That type
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the other things. The organ.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the dollhouse, the
Uh,
doll
Nor-
collection.
in addition to the scenic wonderland, we call it, here at Northlandz, and all the trains running, we also have on the tour, we have a full-blown art gallery with several hundred paintings, some really, really beautiful stuff too, and some of these things are available. We have La Peep Dollhouse, which is, we think, is the world's largest dollhouse with 94 rooms. That's very popular with the ladies and the little girls. And we also have a doll museum with some absolutely beautiful, highly collectible dolls. We have a theater. It's all part of the tour. They'll pass through the theater 3 times, and with one of the world's largest theater pipe organs, and that plays all throughout the day. And that has become a real hit here. People get totally mesmerized with that organ. It's a very powerful organ.
Where was the organ from?
So the organ is a collection of 14 organs that I've purchased over the last 10 years. And we took the best pipes from all those organs to assemble this one.
Where? I mean, the actual keyboard. Where is it? Was that from the theater? Is there any history with that, or?
No, they're all from theaters. All the parts are from theaters, but they're all, sometimes they just go to warehouses. Because this theater pipe organ was popular in the 20s to support and back up silent films. And then they really went into mothballs, most of them. A lot of them were destroyed as the theater would come down and would be demolished. And, so they're still out there, and we acquired a few ourselves. And a lot of the things we don't know where they came from. They just came from somebody's garage or warehouse or the back of a theater, maybe.
Okay, let's wrap this up. And what kind of?
Oh, well, I'm giving you something interesting
Oh,
here.
this is great. No, I got a lot of stuff here. This took what, 4 years to build?
Yeah,
Well, but
Northlandz-
it's really a 25-year process.
Yes.
But this.
The actual building of Northlandz,
I guess before you answer that, because I want you to go into what kind, like when you walk through it now, what kind of satisfaction do you get? Is it very satisfying, especially when you see, little kids, their faces light up? I mean,
Sure.
how does that hard work correlate to now that it's done and you can appreciate it?
well, the amount of work in building this is monumental. It's boggles my mind when I did it, but it's a monumental task, and it's basically complete and stuttering.
I guess what I'm looking for.
I know exactly what you're looking for.
It took
Let
me
me get
4
there.
years.
Let me
It
get
was
there.
a 25-year
Okay.
process, but now that it's done,
Right. a 25-year process. Building Northlandz literally started. Building Northlandz literally started 25 years ago with the old railroad. The last 4.5 years, building this building and assembling all of this and creating all this, it's been a 4.5 year project. Day and night, 7 days a week, 19 hours a day. And the work is monumental. It's just unbelievable, tedious, so forth. And the end result is creating something that, people think is very special, but it's seeing the love in people's faces and the enthusiasm and the happiness that comes when they're in here. Most people leave this place after their tour with stars in their eyes from what they've seen. They just get very passionate about what's here. Any walk of life, any age, it's amazing the people's response to this place. And it's almost unanimous.
Is that very satisfying for you?
Well, of course, that's a given. Gee whiz. All right.
Well, but that's what
You
I
want
want
me
to
to-
hear. I want to hear that.
Of course, people enjoying this place so much and coming back many times, even though we've been open a short time. This is very gratifying. It's a reward for all the work and the thinking. It really is. We're outnumbered here.
It's fine. These mics are very directional.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to hit upon? Yeah, you might want to, and I don't know if I'll use it, but I'm sure one of the questions that somebody would ask is, what happens when that train up there derails? Like, how do I get to it? I know you explained it to me the other day, but do you want to talk about that? Like, is there a lot of accessibility to the different layouts?
This entire complex and this entire system, we can get to every square inch of this at any time for dusting purposes or rearrangement purposes. It's engineered and built for that reason. There's almost 1.5 miles of hidden passageways all throughout underneath these mountains to get out at different points to hit everything, to be able to take care of everything. Another thing, I think a misconception, being such a new enterprise by so many people, that this is toy trains. I hope you can use this somehow, but the misconception here at Northlandz that it's toy trains until people are in here. So many people have been calling this a wonder of the world, a world-class attraction, and I really think it is starting to approach those categories. The scenery is really the key thing here, and this spectacular scenery. That's really it.
That's, I guess, one of the things, just from reading, a little bit about this, is that, you're not a train buff. You're an artist, and this is art.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not toys. This is not, this is not just for Christmas. This is an art form.
Because we got reaction before we had the shows. We had thousands of people through here before we opened, and there was no trains running anywhere, and they would just go crazy over this place. Just like you go to Grand Canyon, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, and it's but there's no trains running there. There's nothing. It's just rocks and a big hole, big trench.
Can you just talk about that? Like, this is an art form. This is not about toys or trains.
Sure. This is, I personally consider this a work of art. This is not just trains. It's an artistic endeavor. People are impressed by the artistry. The trains are not a small part of it. They run everywhere. It adds a little icing to the cake. But the real thing here is the artistic endeavor and the grand scene.
Do you want to talk anything about the future? Like, do you have a few plans? I mean,
Absolutely.
Are always expanding, that type of
Absolutely.
thing, always changing. So, I think it's a good focus, because then if someone comes and sees it once, they come back again, because next time
Sure.
something's going to be different.
Well, there's several things here. We've been open. We opened. I don't know. You want me to mention when we opened? No.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because this will run the next couple of months. So if you want to say we just opened December '96, that's fine.
We opened. Well, we've been open. Let's put it this way: Northlandz has been open a short time, and yet we tell you when you're going to run this. Northlandz has been open a short time, and we've already had people back 3 and 4 times. But I think that many people will come back again to bring other people, but they'll also come back because if we do well in our first year or so, I have 2 major additions that I'm looking to add on to this. They will be much grander than what's here and very, very different. And I look forward to doing that. It's all designed and planned and ready to go.
Great. What do you guys think? I think we hit on anything.
Okay.
Happy with it? Yeah.
Do you manufacture your, like,
I think if somebody has a talent to do something, something like this, or paint, or play music, they have to give it to the world. And that's what I've done. I have the talent to be able to do this type of thing. And I offer it to the world to enjoy. I personally consider this a work of art. This is not just trains. It's an artistic endeavor. People are impressed by the artistry. The trains are not a small part of it. They run everywhere, and it adds a little icing to the cake. But the real thing here is the artistic endeavor and the grand scenery. And the end result is creating something that, you know, people think is very special, but it's seeing the love in people's faces and the enthusiasm and the happiness that comes when they're in here. Most people leave this place after their tour with stars in their eyes from what they've seen. They get very passionate about what's here. Any walk of life, any age, it's amazing the people's response to this place. And it's almost unanimous.